Hottest team in the league, and they're playing real basketball. And
Got to. So hot right
I will
now.
drop the one little asterisk of everybody that I've talked to outside of the Blazers. Like they are playing well. Like there's real stuff to it.
Dude, we've been saying this for a couple weeks. It is actually good basketball that they are playing right now.
Now, are they have most of the teams they have played had some little thing going on with them? Yes. Yes, we can
Yeah,
say
but
that.
the Blazers have had a lot of big things going
no,
on with them.
you're not wrong. Like, and what I'm talking about is like the Sacramento Kings are adjusting to Zach LaVine, and before that, they were the Magic. You were in their worst funk of the season, getting Paolo and Franz back and integrated.
Oh,
And
show.
Miami going through it with Jimmy Butler. Like there were a lot of that. That doesn't dismiss the wins and the style that they're playing with. I've talked to opponents, players on the other teams, coaches on other teams over the last couple of weeks, and the one thing is like they're physical as hell. Like they're physical as hell. Like I don't know what changed. I don't know, but what's going on? They're like it. Everyone is bought in, top to bottom, top to bottom. Like that is a thing, and it's not just two. Although we can talk about Tumani a little bit later as far as where he should be headed at the end of this season. But his impact last night, despite shooting bricks the entire night, was felt the entire night because he set a career high in rebounds, 14, 5 of them offensive. One of them was the game clinching play where he flies in, tries to get a putback dunk, can't get it, still taps it out, comes back out with it, swings out Anthony Simons, hezzy, tween, left step, bang, 3. That's game.
Well, like his impact is so much greater than even what kind of people realize. Like the Habistro stat of the night last night was that Tumani Kamara picked up or had 5 offensive fouls
Drawn
in the previous game that he drew, and in the third quarter he draws an offensive foul against Domantas Sabonis, where Sabonis picked up his 4th personal foul, and Sabonis ends up fouling out of that game. It's those little things like that over the course of a 48-minute game,
because he plays 37 of them,
that he ends up making that impact as the game goes on. Because Domantas Sabonis, if he plays 32 minutes, there's a good chance the Sacramento Kings win that game.
Yeah, because Sabonis had an okay night, but 10 points, 14 rebounds, but he wasn't able to really get consistent because it kept getting disjointed. It kept getting interrupted. And the Blazers, Sabonis is one of the strongest players in the entire league. Like, period, full stop. Like, him and Steven Adams are built out of vibranium. It doesn't, I think I've told this story a bunch of times before. Like, I turned a corner walking out of the media room a couple years ago when he was with the Pacers, and I ran smack into his chest. I'm not a small person. I bounced off of him like I hit a wall, and he just goes, huh. It just kept going. I'm like, my bad, dude. But he, like, the screens he sets, the physical nature he plays with, Tumani is so strong and so aggressive. He's fighting with him, fronting him, playing him 3/4, just not letting him get anything easy when they're switching. And DeAndre Ayton's out on the perimeter. He's competing on the edge. And like, you just see this stuff that emanates from Tumani. And the box score is huge as far as how his impact on the glass and being disruptive. But we've talked about this. You said this a million times. Every dad loves Tumani Kamara.
I love him.
I
want my son to play like him.
He is the heart and soul of this team.
I want every kid to play like him.
Like, he is legitimately, it's not like, he's one of the guys. No, he's the heart and soul of the team. Like, their identity, like, it's very similar. And to Chauncey Billups, he's put his imprint on this team. It's very similar to Tayshaun.
Yeah, Tayshaun Prince, yeah.
Just doing what needs to be done whenever it needs to be done so that everybody else can do the other stuff.
And to the point that I think Chauncey Billups is doing a phenomenal job right now. Like, in the criticisms of Chauncey in the past, they are valid,
sure,
and they are well recognized, right? There were times where the Portland Trailblazers lost a lot of games because of decision making that Chauncey Billups, who was not a head coach before, we only had 1 year as an assistant coach prior to being hired as a head coach, he made. It is undeniable right now, Chauncey Billups, the imprint and the nature of this team is a reflection of him. And it's what he talked about when he was hired that he wanted to build and kind of form in Portland. And it starts with having guys, right? It's having those dudes. And Tumani Kamara is the poster boy for what Chauncey Billups had a vision of this team being. He is playing really well. Chauncey Billups is doing a really good job. And over this, 10 of the last 11 games that they have won, we keep on talking about this, and Sacramento was one of them too. Nine of those last 10 wins
Mhm.
have come against teams that are currently in the playoff picture.
Mhm.
That is not a fluke.
No.
Okay.
Even if are kind of disjointed or whatever their state is, like they're not the bottom feeders, and so they're going to show up with a level of talent that's going to be difficult.
And to the point of this team has been playing a lot better as of late. There are only 5 teams in the entire NBA that have more wins over teams that are 500 or better than the Portland Trailblazers. Okay? Some of them are the 5 games that they stumbled into at the beginning of the year that you keep talking about. Like, those are the ones that are going to bite you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The wins over Memphis and Minnesota.
And New Orleans.
Yeah, well, the New Orleans.
Well, yeah, they're not over 500. Yeah.
They now have 12 wins over teams that are 500 or better. The only teams that have more wins than that are Oklahoma City, Cleveland, Boston, Houston, and Minnesota. This stretch is not like feasting on the weak.
No.
They're doing it against good teams. Now, you mentioned this. A lot of these teams are working through some stuff. And that is noted and that is true. And then what you said, I think, is a big part of this. Other teams are saying this Blazers team is physical as hell. This is the point of the season. We talked about this earlier in the week. These are the dog days of the NBA season, where you have all the veterans are looking there, and they look at the calendar and they're like, we are a week away from All-Star Weekend. This is the time where, oh my gosh, we just need to get through this.
1, 2, 3 Cancun.
And then we have a break, and then we can make that push. This is where young teams that are young, dumb, and don't know any better.
This is where they make.
Make a run, and that's where the Blazers are doing this.
This is not the first young team to do this in February.
Absolutely not. And
it's pretty common.
It is not indicative of a team that is like turning some massive corner to being a playoff contender.
No. But
they are still fatally flawed, but it is good, and they are playing really good basketball right now.
And that's the thing, is it's the style. It's that's the thing.
They have an identity.
Yes, that's the thing that you are seeing, and it's pretty damn interesting. I'll tell you that, man, because like up and down that roster, regardless of what happens defensive or offensively, defensively they are competing. They're getting it done.
Is this a team that is going to be competing for the play-in now? Because what Joe Cronin said yesterday, it leads you to believe that that's kind of where they're headed.
The goal for the rest of the season is really the goal from the beginning: continued growth. We've taken some good steps. We've got a lot more steps to take. We want to see those again individually and collectively. From our young guys and from our middle-aged vets to our older vets. Like, these guys keep getting better together and individually. As far as our projection as a team and just what do we look like from a talent standpoint, that's our challenge always, is to keep accumulating talent, keep getting as high end as we can as far as the the players we're adding and the capabilities that these guys bring. And for me, a lot of that still comes with the development. Like, we have a really talented group of guys that are capable of taking multiple steps. And for me, if they're playing well and they're getting better daily and they're learning how to win and build that winning competitive mentality, for me that's real progress for them.
Ask straight up about the play-in.
I think it'd be unfair to take it away from them. Like, for me, I'm so proud and so excited about these guys that sky's the limit. Like, go guys, go win. Let's see what you can do. And I'm here to support it.
They're not going to shut guys down.
I don't think that's necessarily true, in the sense of what he said there is, I don't want to take that away from them. The second that this run pitters out, I think it's on the table.
The second that this pitters out, does that mean a loss?
No, not necessarily.
Does that mean a couple of losses?
Do you think that this what is happening right now is going to carry on for the rest of the season?
I don't know. 53-29 still on the table.
There you go. But I mean, in all seriousness,
no. No.
And I think that after that, you could probably consider it.
And that, to me, is that always that well, okay, well, what is your goal right now? What, and then we talked about this yesterday. Like that was like a big point of contention between you and I. Is like, what are they doing?
Yeah, and then
And it doesn't make sense.
well, but right now with what is going on as far as the wins, unless they keep this going for a long time, they're not really going to change their positioning all that much. Unless they just continue to win at this level, and then I mean, if they do and they win 19 of 20. Then screw it. Maybe they are good.
They're 2.5 out of the 10th spot.
Yeah.
Which is the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to end up there.